There's news that must be dealt with. And having you here, I need to get your reaction on some of these things. And let's start with the shutdown. We're hitting the point where it's causing real pain for federal employees who have to work but don't get paid. We're about to see food assistance cut off and other sources of pain. Any movement, any prospects? What's your outlook?
My heart goes out to all the federal employees and families and contractors and people who are affected by this Republican shutdown. A reminder that Republicans control the White House, the Senate, and the House. If Donald Trump simply said end the shutdown, the Republican leaders in the House and Senate would do that today. Unfortunately, Speaker Johnson has literally done the opposite. He's canceled votes for now 4 weeks. Democrats have been coming to D.C. working on behalf of American people, and Republicans are still on vacation. It is quite extraordinary.
Yeah, it's quite extraordinary. It's even more extraordinary when you consider that among the few things the federal government currently has going is the tearing down of the East Wing of the White House and building a palatial ballroom, a ballroom that will be almost twice as big as the White House itself, that the president seems to be forging ahead with without seeking the approval of any commissions, and at a cost of maybe $300 million. The optics are a bit odd, no?
I don't even think it's just odd. I think it's grotesque. And the current occupant of the White House is going to fundamentally alter and has altered a structure that Americans have long revered. And honestly, I hope that the next president, whoever it is, will tear down this ballroom and restore the White House to what it was. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's likely that the next president, whoever it is, will see such a stigma attached to the ballroom that they will be unable to use it. One more news-related question before we get into some on that are sort of the medium to longer term in consequence, and that is related to your role in Foreign Affairs Committee and the fact that yesterday the president announced some sanctions finally on Russian oil companies. Do you think there is some movement there? Is the United States finally starting to exert the kind of pressure on Russia we need to?
I sure hope so. I support the Trump administration's actions to sanction Russian oil companies. It's something we should have done years ago. There is a war between Ukraine and Russia. And my view is the side that makes the decision to win generally wins the conflict. And my frank assessment of you is the Biden administration never made the decision to win. The Trump administration has not made a decision to win either, but this is a step in the right direction. I'm also pleased. It does appear to me that the president is saying that Ukraine can do whatever it wants with British supplied long-range missiles to strike into Russia. And so I think those are steps in the right direction. But I think Russia clearly has made a decision to win. And unless the U.S. and Ukraine and NATO decides to do that, then this conflict is going to keep on going. The only way you get Putin to the negotiating table
no doubt that that's the
Russian
case.
Troops.
And
It's that
any progress is a sign of a glimmer of hope. Let's turn for a bit now to AI, which is one of the subjects we go into at great length here, because I know we can get caught up in the news on a daily basis. And we lose sight of the fact that we are living in a moment of sort of great historical transition, not just technological transition to our economies that'll have impact on every single person out there. And not enough of our time gets devoted to those kind of issues. I know it's something you've spent a lot of time thinking about. And so I've got a series of questions related to AI. And let me start with one that relates also to politics. In the 2024 campaign, a lot of the sort of simplistic analysis broke it down to the price of eggs. Looks to me like in 2026 and 2028, you might do the same thing for the price of electricity. Electrical prices are going up everywhere. Has to do in some degree with demand coming from data centers that's likely to grow at really astronomical rates. Do you think we're prepared to deal with this? And do you think we're making the right decisions when we sort of pull back on funding for, say, renewable sources of energy in favor of fossil fuels, as the administration is doing?
That's a great question, David. Yes, I think the price of eggs was definitely an issue in the last election, but it was more than that. It was sort of overall inflation. And now we continue to have the same problem. Grocery prices have continued to increase under the Trump administration. And now you add to that the increase in energy prices, as you mentioned, in terms of electricity. And this is being made worse by the Trump administration's canceling of a lot of different energy projects across America. And I don't understand why the administration would want to do that when you have electricity costs continue to increase. The average consumer doesn't really care at some level where the electricity comes from, whether it's renewables or not, as long as they can get it at a lower rate. And the administration, when they cancel energy projects, means they're going to reduce the amount of supply. That's then going to increase the amount of how much consumers pay. Just a simple economics issue. And so the Trump administration is making it worse. And then you add on top of this the huge amount of electricity that data centers use. And you have AI companies that have huge amounts of money and huge valuations that can spend a lot of money building data centers that then end up using a lot of this electricity. Again, with lower supply, increased demand, people's rates are going to keep on rising.